Hey guys, it's your weekly coffee with Jenny Berry. One of my goals is going to be keeping you guys more updated on things that the leadership of our church, the Square, should know. So on Tuesday mornings, we always have staff prayer and followed by staff meeting. So some of the things that we talked about today that I wanted to update you guys on. First of all, tonight is our night of worship and prayer and healing prayer at church. It's at 7 p.m., 7 to 9. There's no childcare available, but I am hosting the event as the pastor there. So Pastor Phil won't be there, but I am really excited to lead the event tonight and hopefully be able to pray over any of the MCs that are able to come. Basically, we're going to start out with worship, and then there's a team from a group called Catch the Fire, I think, and they prayed over us as a staff last week, and it was a really amazing time. So after worship, they're going to give some words of knowledge, which is when God tells someone something about someone else that there's no reason they should know it, like if someone had a word of knowledge about me, they would say like, hey, is there anyone here who was like made fun of for her hair when she was little? I don't know. I mean, I'm not kidding. That is true. That did happen, but that's probably not what God would use a word of knowledge for, but I'm just blanking on a really good example. So, yeah, I'd be like, oh, hey, yeah, my friends used to call me Jennifer. What does God have to say to me? So sometimes a word of knowledge will just kind of like set the stage for what God is about to do. And it's like God displaying how intimately he knows us through a vessel that doesn't know us at all. And then we'll be doing some healing prayer. And so that's something I felt like was really good and important to do tonight, because especially what Pastor Phil mentioned about after Christmas time when he had that Instagram post or whatever about what do you need me to pray for you, and he said he had hundreds of messages of people asking for healing prayer. So we're going to go after that tonight, and then whoever is there, we're gonna have the groups come up as a group and pray specifically over your mission statement and you guys and launching into the spring. So I'm really, really excited about that, and I hope that you guys can come. That is tonight. The next thing on the schedule for us is the commissioning of our groups on February 3rd. That's a Sunday. We're doing it in all 3 services. So if you guys could just let me know which service you usually attend, so we don't have one service that's like an awkwardly small amount of people, that would be really helpful. And if it affects anything with where you're serving, hopefully it doesn't affect anything of where you're serving in a different service on Sunday morning. But if it does, just make sure that the Pixels team or the Encounter team would know that ahead of time so that they can be prepared. Yeah, and also with that, on that Sunday, Ty Berrien is preaching, and Pastor Phil will actually be taking a like mini sabbatical personal retreat that weekend. So I will actually be commissioning you guys in all 3 services on church that Sunday. So I'm really excited. I love you guys. I love being your leader, and I think that will be a really cool moment for us. Then the following week, you guys launch your MCs. So if you meet on Sundays, that Sunday, February 3rd should be your first meeting. I was just informed today that is the day of the Super Bowl. So I think it would be really fun if the MCs launched, especially the MCs that meet on Sundays, launched with a Super Bowl party. Up to you, obviously, you don't have to, but it might be kind of a cool thing, and it would encourage people to actually come. But if you're going to do that, you should probably start communicating it sooner than later. And it just goes to show how little I care about professional football. I'm in for college football, and I'm in for professional soccer, guys, but I'm sorry, like professional football, I could probably only name like 6 teams. So anyway, not my thing. But I love food. So Super Bowl parties I usually enjoy. So yeah, but then the following week, whatever day of the week that you're meeting, that should be the first day that you start, the following week of February 3rd. Then February 22nd, we have Pastor Jon Tyson coming to speak to our church. So most of you, if not all of you, should know who that is. He's the one who wrote Creative Minority that we went through last year. And he's really amazing. He has a huge heart for revival. And he's seeing revival break out in New York. And if you want, he has a podcast. You can go and buff up on some of the things that he's been preaching recently or a long time ago, whatever. But definitely mark it in your calendar. February 22nd is a Friday. It's at 7 p.m. And in my email last week, I wrote 7 to ? Because I'm just expecting revival to break out. But probably it'll be 7 to 9. And there's no childcare for that event. So definitely, if you have kids, get on the ball and find childcare at this time, because I don't think it's going to be something that you want to miss. That Sunday, February 23rd, Jon Tyson is also preaching at our church. So just know it's an important weekend to be in town. Also, on the 22nd, sorry, he's preaching the 24th. Did I say that? Anyway, on the 22nd, if we host it in our building, it will be an RSVP event. So if RSVP is the kind of thing you usually see and say, I'll do that later, if you see RSVP come up for Jon Tyson, do it then, because it will be quickly filled in my anticipation. So I'll try to get you guys that link as soon as I can have it. And let's see. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to say besides those 3 things. I think that that's the most important things for right now. Last night I was led to Romans, and I just wanted to read this to you guys because I posted about it on Instagram, and I've already talked to 2 of you today who had like personal things to say about this part of scripture. And so whenever that happens, I feel like maybe God isn't just speaking it to me. So this is Romans chapter 12, verse 19. And my ESV, the title is Marks of the True Christian. Let love be genuine, abhor what is evil, hold fast to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection, outdo one another in showing honor. Do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer, contribute to the needs of the saints, and seek to show hospitality. Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse them. Rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of God. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. To the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. For by so doing, you will heap burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. And I was just really challenged by, I went through S&T, and so I have this is there, and it's a combination of a list and the author's instructions, basically, is how I wrote it out. But it's a list of the author's instructions, which is Paul. And I was sitting there looking at this, and I think so often it's easy to read it as a big chunk. But I was like looking at every single individual instruction. And I was just really convicted because we don't do this well as a Christian, as a group of Christian people in general, generally speaking. And I was thinking, like, what if I just focused for a whole week on outdoing everyone I knew in honor? What if I just focused for one whole week on rejoicing in hope? Like, we don't even know what the definition of that would look like because it's so not something that we do. What if for a whole week I contributed to the needs of the saints? What if for a whole week I sought to show hospitality, or a month or whatever? Like, it's so much, I think, that it's easy to clump it and then set it aside and be like, basically Paul's saying to be a good person. But he gives very specific instructions on what he doesn't say Christians should be good people. Basically, in this section, he's saying Christians should be set apart from their culture. And the truth is that when I'm reading these words, I'm like, yeah, this would set us apart from our culture. So anyway, guys, take some time maybe and read through that scripture yourself and see what God convicts you on. And otherwise, text me if you have any questions, and know you're loved.